So activists were shocked in the beginning. Jane Rissler, you may know her better than the Europeans. Compared to these plants, the radiation mutated, genetically modified food is about as dangerous as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. She said that. I have a right to cite that. But obviously, after about 1 year, all these activists kept quiet because they saw that they shoot in their own foot by this kind of argumentation. And actually, factually, it is also not correct because the DNA repair mechanisms are fantastic. And those radiation mutated plants are more or less normal in the genome again. So, and since I'm not a Greenpeace activist, I say that, you see. But I gave a lecture at the highest level of the business level of Barilla, and I showed this slide, and they were not very happy about it. But then I explained, don't worry too much, but you have to know if you are attacked by somebody. Anyway, the Cartagena Protocol and also the European regulation is resembling this car, you know. It's just hopeless. And I have been to all the Cartagena conferences except the first and the last one. And I must say it's a waste of time. This Cartagena people, they are steered by a circle. They call themselves Friends of the Chair. And if you know the names, it's Jack Heinemann, it's Beatrix Tapeser, it's Angelika Hillbeck. It's all these parallel scientists who are anyway against GMOs, you know, and who publish flawed papers. So it's hopeless within the Cartagena Protocol to change. And I have tried many times. And in the last one in Hyderabad, I refused to come, and the ticket would have been paid, but I said I'm not going to play the clown anymore. Decision-making process in Europe is also very tricky, and it has also its good side because they don't make any decisions. Also, GMO-free regions, they cannot reach a consensus. Nothing has been decided. You see, this is the structure of decision-making. It's hopeless. And it has been tested and scrutinized by people who work for big organizations to scrutinize them. And the paper is given here. So it's quite clear. The situation is so that whether the good nor the bad sides are given or decided in Europe. And you see that we have a stall in the development. It's clearly visible. It's even worse now in 2012. And we, a small group of activists on the other side, we have written in the Nature Biotechnology confronting the Gordian knot. So we are definitely of the opinion that things have to change dramatically in European regulation. You see here the stalls in red. I don't want to go into the detail. It's years of delay. So when you complain about several months or 1 year or two, that's nothing. Huh? That's nothing. And you see here that submissions are still climbing, but there are no decisions taken. And one of the reasons is that the activists are really active, as the name says, and they indulge into field destructions. Now, after 2010, they have again risen. And they don't call it field destruction, they call it field liberation. And I can guarantee you, 97% of these activists, they are good people. And they mean good. They want to really save the world. And they are deeply convinced about that. One calls this moral self-licensing in psychology. There is a vast literature about that. Or here, the destruction of 30 years of field research, which happened a few weeks ago in Italy. I called it governmental, an act of legal vandalism in nature biotechnology. The government didn't like that, of course, it's clear. But he had to see how these things were destroyed. Ordered by the government. And here you see from Belgium that things are really getting sour in Europe. We have no real development anymore. A lot of genomic people and genetic engineers are active in the labs, but they have no real outcome anymore. And I can tell you one of the best-known scientists at the Zurich Federal School of Technology, he has no Swiss students anymore, only from the foreign countries. There are papers written with tables and with graphs and so on to show this destruction. There was no impact. That's my summing up of the situation in Europe. Anyway, I think you all know that we have 1 billion hungry people, and part of the solution will be modern agriculture. Not the whole, but part is certainly correct. And, well, one of the arguments which is very strongly rooted still in green-minded biologists as a whole is that due to modern cropping, the crop varieties have been diminished. And this is all based on the old Raffi study by Mooney and others. And it has been repeated later. You see here that this is not true. Since the 60s, we have hard figures that crop varieties are mounting again. Here again, you see, since the 60s, the situation is getting better. But in the National Geographic magazine, this totally distorted graph is very popular. It's reproduced, of course, on all the green websites, and it's a grim picture, you know, that what Monsanto has done and Syngenta, and this is really a catastrophe, but it's based on wrong figures. And here you have a good publication from Paul Held. You can download it from my slides afterwards. I give all my references with full text links, illegal, but it doesn't matter. I have never got a complaint, only once, and I sent this editor-in-chief a bill of $5,000 for PR. Here are the figures. I don't want to enumerate them. It's clear. Hard statistics show it's a myth that the crop varieties are diminishing. Another myth is that organic farming and modern agriculture, including genetic engineering, cannot go together. What a joke. Actually, I already said that some of the genetically engineered plants would be the ideal organic crops. And I have written about that, why high-tech farmers should adopt organic management, and the other article was the other way around. So it's clear, and a very popular book has been written by a couple. She is the biotechnologist, and he is the organic farmer. And they live a happy marriage together. Literally, and they work together. And the book is really well written, Tomorrow's Table. And to shock you a little bit, this is an organic farmer from Holland, from the Netherlands. He works with his salad production completely according to the rules of organic farming in the Netherlands. Doesn't deviate a bit. So organic farming doesn't mean that these are all Luddites and backwards thinking people. That's not true. Some are really clever people, and there is a statistics existing about the average education of conventional farmers and organic farmers, and the organic farmers win by far. Huh? So careful about denigration. And here you have another type of organic farmer. These are my far out relatives, the Amish farmers, because they got the name from the family Ammann. And actually Jacob Ammann was the founder of the Amish, a faction of the Mennonites, like Dr. Friesen. Yeah, he is a Mennonite. So I had the privilege to visit them as non-touristic families, and they invited me, and we had discussions, as you see here, with the straw hat. That's the Amish farmer, very proud and organic farmer. And it took me about 2.5 hours to convince him to use transgenic crops. And we brought him some bags from Monsanto. Oh, horribile dictu. Huh? And they tried it out, and half of the community of 300 families are using now transgenic crops. And they consider themselves to be organic farmers. That's how stubborn these guys are, you know. But when you go and look into the history of the farmers, these are Amish farmers, you will not see the name of Jacob Ammann anymore, because he made a big mistake. He married his daughter to a Protestant. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. So with my friend Elmer here in the picture, I told him, but Elmer, after 450 years, you know, isn't there some Christian forgiveness possible? You know what he answered? He said, Klaus, we will think about. Yeah. Agroecology and organic farmer result in more yield compared to biotech crops. That's not true. It's always cited by bad clay. And when you analyze the study, you will see that this lady accumulated and added the statistics year by year. She did not take the average. And of course you get wonderful yields like that. So she cheated blatantly, either from stupidity or on purpose. I don't know. The hard facts are that organic farming is really lower yielding, the red one, clear. And there is another myth. Organic tomatoes are seemingly better because they have more antioxidants, but that's not true. A friend of mine studied the whole experiment, repeated it, and saw that the higher degree of antioxidants is only caused by fertilizer stress in the first 2-3 years. When we divided as scientists should do, your seeds in 2 groups, and one group is organic, one group is conventional, and then you put automatically, without thinking, the organic tomato under fertilizer stress. It's clear. And that's how they get so better, But if you then go into the detail, you see it's just not true. And there are good meta-studies with hundreds of papers analyzed statistically which show there is no difference. And another kind of biased view is shown here. You see the black columns. These are columns of incidences of Escherichia coli outbreak. The one in northern Germany was caused by human fertilizer and a different strain with a big tail of antibiotic resistance genes. Very dangerous. And it caused 53 dead people. And hundreds it left back without kidneys, which is even worse in my eyes, But when you were looking in the European press, the word organic you didn't find. And the Organic International organization and also the Swiss one, they bluntly lied about it's not organic. But of course it was organic, quite clearly, as all the other studies. And then I called one of the guys who had to look into it in Germany at the Robert Koch Institute. You know what I got as an answer? Well, Klaus, I know what you mean. We should go and dig into the origin of these Escherichia coli strains, but that's too sensitive. Finished. It was never looked at. Anyway, the hard reality is that as soon as crop prices rise, you have riots. That's from Slavo. It's also nicely cited. You can download it. And it's a worry, We are at the edge because crops cannot be stored for a long time. And if something is missing, the prices just make a big hike, as in the drought in Russia with the wheat. Suddenly, pop, the price is hiked up. And we have to be very careful. It's a very sensitive situation, and we simply have to produce more crop yield. But then come these hypocrite guys, having everything. They are overfed like me, and they don't worry about the hungry people. Isn't that a nice thing? I smoke cigarettes, but organic ones. Oh. Or this one, scaremongering. Evil always fascinates, goodness rarely entertains. And that's the secret of their success. But there is an irony, a fantastic irony. The euro bills are made out of BT cotton. And every European, whether it's pro or con, he fingers these bills daily, What a nice view. What a nice view.